what's up, guys? Welcome back to Explain It to Us. This is going to be the start of a new series called We Need to Talk, and we're going to be going over crucial and very important subjects for the everyday person to know. And um, yeah, let's get straight to it. These episodes are going to be coming out on every Monday, 6 p.m. MST. They're all going to be short, and they're going to be jam-packed with facts. Everything we talk about on these podcasts and on these shows and everything I talk about on here is going to be links in the description, and I'm probably going to have, some things on the screen for you guys as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Make sure you guys like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel and share this channel to help us grow and have a bigger impact. And let's get started. So today we have, is California worth saving? And I'm going to be going over some things like the budget crisis, one, population drop, first in recorded history, two, I think it's like over hundreds of years. Homelessness makes up a third of the U.S.'s homelessness problems. California votes Democrat for president in the last 31 years. So first, we have the budget crisis. And this is on Cal Matters. Balancing Act Newsom's plan to cover Californians' budget deficit. California right now's estimated budget deficit has grown $9 billion since January. And I think it's somewhere around 31.5 billion dollars deficit to their state budget. So it says here California estimated state budget deficit has grown $9 billion since January. Governor Newsom announced today through the governor downplayed the severity of the potential impact on critical government services and programs. I mean, that's a 10% deficit. So there, I think it was what is it, like 301 billion dollar budget, and it's down $31 billion. That's a huge cut. That's 10% down. They're gonna have to make that up somehow. If they don't make it up, they're gonna have to have budget cuts, and they're gonna have to start cutting programs. All kinds of funding for people. No more monopoly money. That's what a lot of us want to call it. And for us small states, $31 billion is a lot. The state budget for Arizona is somewhere around 17 to 18 billion. So this is pretty big. Number two, population drop, first in recorded history. This is by CBS News, and CBS, California population declines for the first time in recorded history. California population fell by more than 182,000 people or residents last year, the first yearly loss ever recorded for the nation's most populous state. The decline halted a growth streak dating to its founding in 1850 on the heels of gold rush that prompted a flood of people to seek their fortune in the West. So I think, was it last year they lost about 112 or something, like 117,000. I don't have the numbers with me right here. The average sale price of a single family home in California hit a record $758,990 in March, a 23.9% increase from last year. That is huge. So how can you get normal people with was it like the average for America is like around $70,000, something like that, for their annual income? How are you gonna have them pay a $700,000 house? That's not gonna work. Number three, we have homelessness makes up a third of the U.S.'s homelessness process. This is on USA Today's. So USA Today has the article name, nearly one third of the nation's homeless population live in California, new research shows. So it says here, the California statewide study of people experiencing homelessness also reveals 50% of all unsheltered people in the country who may or may not have a car to sleep in live in California. Almost 90% reported that the cost of housing was the main reason why they could not escape homelessness. I'm pretty sure you guys are looking at the picture I'm painting here. Number four, we got California votes Democrat for president for 31 years straight. So I saw this on Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is an ESPN analyst. He makes a ton of money. His salary is upwards to like $15 to $20 million per year. He makes good money. just to talk about sports and everything. I'm not diminishing his career or anything. He's great. He's one of the best in the business. And he was telling these college students, don't don't have the politicians expect you to vote for them. Make them earn your vote. So by you guys retaining the value of your vote, try to make your state into a purple state, kind of like Arizona is, kind of like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and that way your voices are most heard. When it's a 50-50 state, these politicians will try anything to win. When I mean that is they cannot mess up. There's no margin for error. They will do anything they can to make your life better. If they expect you to vote for them regardless of how their policies that they perform, or the policies they bring in, or laws that they enact, or things like that in that nature, then why would they have an initiative to try to make your living situation better? You know what I mean? So this is where like the Stephen A. thing came in, when he was telling those college students, vote Republican. Doesn't matter, or vote even Libertarian, as long as the Democrats don't win for these electoral votes, because it's 54 electoral votes in 2020. It used to be 55. It dropped to 54. But what I'm saying is, you need to have them hustle, have them work for your vote instead of expecting your vote. Man, you guys got to do it. So right here in these numbers, so it's called 270 to win. In 1972, it reached 45 electoral votes. So in the last 50 years, it gained about nine electoral votes, which is pretty good. While the growth in Latino population has helped make California a reliably Democrat state today, this was not always the case. In fact, in 1952 through 1988, Republicans won every presidential election except the landslide loss of Barry Goldwater in 1964. In 2020, Joe Biden won the state by about 30 points over Donald Trump. This marked the fourth consecutive election that the Democratic nominee has surpassed 60% in the state. So these numbers right here that you see, I'm gonna put right here, recent presidential elections. So 2000 to 2022, you see the 2000s at 53%, and look, that's even 53 to 41. That's still a big gap. If you guys want to have your votes count and you have them matter, you need these numbers to be a little closer. You need them about like 49 to like 47 or something like that. That way these politicians will actually go to your state and actually try to help it. If not, if they're just going to expect your vote, they're not even going to visit your state. And if they do, it's in the back of their mind, because they're like, oh, my money's already cashed in. I don't really have to work out there. It's kind of like passive income, like a renter, something like that. They just expect their check every day, and like they expect your vote every day. So, and these numbers are growing. So it was 53, then 54, 61, 60, 61.7, like 62, and then it to 63.5. It looks like it's growing, and it looks like the Republicans also grew. It went to 31 to 34. So the independents are probably not there no more. But the libertarians or independents, third party. So yeah, that's what I mean. And then there's another graph, electoral college votes. You see how it keeps increasing. It's wild. And now it's gonna start dropping if they don't fix this issue with people, the large exodus leaving out California. They're gonna start losing electoral votes, and not only that, it's becoming more Democrat as the years go by. This is a great example right here. I have Detroit, from the Detroit crash, and this is in 1967, or about the late 1960s. Bentley University, I have the link in the bottom. Newsroom. The $1 billion question: what happened to Detroit? When the city declared a record-breaking $18 billion bankruptcy in July. So this is in the 60s. $18 billion with inflation, that's huge. You can do the numbers. I'll probably do the numbers right here. I'll calculate it. But $18 billion is mega. Americans looked on in a new awe. A bunch of people started leaving, obviously, because the state is broke. They broke. In the heyday, 55 years ago, Detroit was home to an automaker giant, General Motors, GM. The city swelled to almost 2 million residents. Just the city has 2 million. And this is in the 60s. This is before, the population started booming. The fifth largest in America at today's standards. Today, GM and Detroit when today GM and Detroit are bankrupt. The population plummeted to 700,000, with the highest unemployment rate of more than 16% in any major American city. Looking back, the exodus and downfall of the city began in the 1960s when a building boom pushed people into the suburbs. If I can correctly remember the college sociology, it was a zone of transition. One ethnic group of whites moved out, and another black Americans moved in. The Detroit exodus quickened in 1967, following the racial riots. So by the 1970s, auto companies began moving factories to right to work states that don't require non-union members to pay the union on agency fees. From 1979 to 2008, United Automobile Workers membership decreased from 1.5 million workers to slightly more than 300,000. Workers in the right to work state chose not to join the union, and auto companies replaced labor with capital. According to Reuters, union membership is now hovering at 100,000. So we're talking about 1.5 million to 100,000. That is a huge drop. The high school education rate is at 77% compared to a national average of 88%. A 4-year college graduation rate is 13% compared to more than 30% nationwide. Approximately 40% of the households are below poverty level. 15 to 16% is nationwide. Detroit is breeding poverty. Close to half the children are being born to single mothers, and child poverty rate is close to 60%. These numbers are wild. Now, going forward, what are we going to do about this? What can we do? My mind thinks about things like this all the time, especially when I watch Temple's podcast. They talk about we should let these cities fall, But then he also talks about, what if we don't let it fall? What if Republicans and conservatives and liberals and independents come and save it? It's, I don't know, maybe just progressives are the ones ruining everything. Who knows? We don't know anything factual yet. What we do know factual is people are preferring to move their families to red areas, and that's a given. You have Texas booming; they just gained electoral votes. Florida is booming. Idaho is booming. I think was it Nevada? Nevada's booming. Arizona's booming. Those states are all booming right now. If you look at the top 10 most booming states in population, especially people moving into their states, about 7 or 8 of the 10 are red states. It's a vast majority red states, and it's for a reason. People prefer their policies. People don't like government in their lives, and that's just how we're always gonna be. And uh, the immigration is the only thing keeping most of the numbers somewhat high, because even immigration is a problem in Cali. I think they're housing them in hotels now. San Francisco is losing billions every day now. They have lost the Hyatt contract, where Hyatt pulled out all their hotels out of there. Another big company pulled out of there. What was it? One of their malls in San Francisco pulled out. The owner of the mall, he pulled out, and now the government has to fund to keep those things open instead of having the private industry. These are things I'm thinking about. Change in policy, number one. Number two, strict on any crime. Bring down the crime rate. San Francisco is a huge thing. Everything's being broken into. People are just robbing stores. They raised the limit of being arrested or being charged around $900 or something like that. So you can just go in the gas station and steal everything you want. Obviously, the gas station owners are going to move out. And that's what they're doing. People are pulling their businesses out. You need less government intervention in private affairs. So as we were saying earlier about these red states, where the government is not always poking and poaching in everyone's business. People like their business, they like their privacy, and they want homelessness to be outside of their property. They don't want certain laws that I can probably search up a ton right here that the government can step in at any moment, to ruin your life, even with your family, kids and stuff. focus on private schools. In Arizona is a big example of that. Public schools are a dying breed in Arizona. Private schools are booming in Arizona. There's this one stat that Arizona and Florida are the top two states in private schools. So, and the graduation rates won't raise with that, but what does come with is kids growing up with morals, kids growing up with responsibility, kids growing up with meaning, kids growing up with um, less biased teachers and stuff, if I want to be more correct about it. So yeah, private schools, also the parents will be more happier. There was just this giant fight with the parents and the Antifa group or something like that in Glendale High School in the Glendale area. So it's an issue, you know. People want to do private school, let them do private schools, and I would say even help fund their private schools, something like that. Make it illegal to live on government property. This will solve a lot of the homelessness issues. People, there's all types of laws that homeless people can get away with living on the sidewalks, living in people's backyard homes, living in abandoned buildings, living anywhere as long as you give them a certain amount of time to live there. They will make that their residence. They can even vote from the sidewalk. They can make that their official address, and vote from there. So I would. That's another thing. Make it illegal. Crack down on this. You know, if they want to live homeless, they can live homeless on their land. You know, this life ain't free. You know, if you want a free life, go fight for it. You know, this notion that we have to give and give and give to people who don't even work, people don't even want to work, and it's even worse when they beg for money. So like me, I'm a first generation Hispanic. I'm not even gonna say what ethnicity I am. I'm a first generation. I work for every dollar I have. My parents work for every dollar they have. We don't do any crime. We don't do anything. My record is near spotless. We don't do any of these stupid things other people do. And when I see homeless people begging for money with with their signs and stuff, I it irritates me honestly. Like, cause I'm coming home from work, busting my what, just so I can pay for the roof over my head and stuff, pay for bills, pay for stuff like the podcast. All this stuff costs labor. And to see them, and not only that, they get money. These people do give money to the people, to the beggars. And it's one of those things where like you're doomed if you do and you're doomed if you don't, but I go with the don't. You don't do it, man. You just you give them more of a reason to do more drugs, more alcohol, and keep living on the street. Um, Number six, more lenient on gun rights. So gun rights, if there was more gun owners, less crime would be committed. People don't want to break into your house if they know that house has a gun owner in it. People don't want to break into stores if they know the security guards have guns on them. People won't get mugged on the street if they know the muggee, or the person being mugged has a gun. It's common sense. I think the gun ownership's around 40 to 30 something percent in Cali or something like that, but they make it very difficult. You have to sign all this paperwork. I mean, it's just to conceal and carry is very difficult. Even if I have my permit to conceal carry and open carry, I have both. If I want to go to California, I can't. I can bring my gun in a safe with the magazine in a different safe, all kinds of these things. Like, bro, come on, man. And the self-defense rules in California are very, very dangerous. Like if you self-defense, home defense, stuff like that. Be more lenient on that, man. You gotta have it's you got the right to carry, and as long as you're not, a menace to society. Obviously, you're not a felon. And even then, I think felons should have a route, maybe like 7 to 10 years, 15 years of a slap in the wrist before they can be able to own a firearm again or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out. I'm just throwing things and see what sticks on the wall. Something like that, but better than what you guys have now, basically. Number seven, more police funding and increase in domestic dispute training. I am a firm believer of separating law enforcement and domestic law enforcement. There has to be something to separate the two, because you can't have a cop who does traffic stops, who does traffic, and then have a cop that does domestic calls. They have cops that answer, violent crime and stuff like that, and then drug there's. I think police they have to be pros at everything. You can't be the best at everything. You can't have a LeBron James of cops everywhere. You know, you gotta have cops. I think they should be more narrowed down. There should be cops for domestic disturbances. There should be cops for violent disturbances. There should be cops for traffic things. So on and so forth. I think it needs to be more diversified, because come on, man, we're expecting a lot from cops, and they're human. My reasoning for saving them, and I don't know if this is good enough for y'all, but for me, California has San Diego. San Diego has a really big port for goods and services and stuff like that to be ported in, because we do a lot of imports. We don't do that much exports. We have a giant Navy base in San Diego as well that houses a lot of our aircraft carriers. That's where they work on them. That's where they do the maintenance on the Pacific side. And what's going on with China, obviously San Diego is going to be very, very important. We can't let California fall with San Diego being involved. Another reason to not let it fall would be the GDP that California has is huge. It's somewhere around the trillions. It's like $3 trillion or something like that. If California was its independent country, it would be a top 10 richest country. It's very, very high GDP. Obviously, it's funded because of the middle of the country, and everyone buys stuff to move the exports from California to the interland. But that's another reason I would want to save California. But also, do they want to be saved? Now, this is the things why not to save it. Do they want to be saved? Do they want help? How much would it cost to help? Do they want change? Because they're responsible for what happened. And I don't know who you hold responsible. Do you hold the people that are voting responsible because they kind of voted those people in? Or do you hold the people who are in office there responsible? I don't know. Something needs to change. And after reading all this and providing the reasons to save it, I'm gonna go with try to save it. But at a caveat. I'm gonna add a caveat. If they do those 7 things I listed earlier. All right, guys, that's the end of this segment. And let me know if you guys like this. I'm gonna continue to do more and see if that's gonna work out. But I like these informative videos. Hopefully they stay short. I'm hoping I'm gonna keep this below 15 minutes. We'll see. There's so much things that I cover on this, and it's hard. It's very difficult, and I hope you guys like this new series. This is We Need to Talk. And please like this video, share this with your friends and family, comment your thoughts on this video, comment save California or comment abandon California. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. All right, guys, this is your host, Jose, from Explain It To Us, and We Need to Talk. Out. Peace.